Hello, this is just a sort of pre-video for the Dotty Rockers groups to just explain some of the theory behind what we do. So this is to watch with a little cup of tea, not for the kids, okay? So here is a list of some of the musical skills that we're trying to develop through Dotty Rockers classes. So on a lot of the learning that the children are going to be doing is on a subconscious level. So I'm getting them to do surface activities that don't sometimes seem to have much to do with actually playing notes on a piano or on a violin or anything like that. But on a deeper level, they're getting the real basic skills that they need later on to be able to really flourish when they start to learn an instrument. So, first one, pulse. So the concept of pulse in music is the same as a pulse in your arm. That's where it comes from. It's a beat that keeps going all the way through a music. So in the welcome song, when I'm getting them to tap their knees, or we're going to tap our shoulders, or we're going to stamp our feet. Now there are 3 pulses that I'll probably do with the Dotty Rockers age group. So we have a guitar pulse. So in technical language, that's a crotchet pulse. So it's a medium 1, 1, 1, 1, ta, 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 okay? Then we're going to do a quick pulse, which is called a ti-ti pulse, and you'll hear me going ti-ti, 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 or ti-ti, 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 ti-ti. When we're doing ti-ti pulses, because it's double the speed of a ta, 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 T, 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 where the movements become smaller, okay? Again, subconscious, but you'll notice me doing those. Those are actually called quavers, quaver pulse, but T, 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 T at the moment. Crotchets and quavers won't come in for another sort of 2 years or so. Then towards the end of the year, as the children are getting a bit more physical coordination, it's much easier for children to go fast than slow. So doing a slow pulse is really hard for them. So we put on heavy boots to make our arms feel heavy, and we sort of imagine our whole body, and we go two-woo, 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 two-woo. Now that is a minim beat, but we do two-woo because it lasts for 2 beats. It's double the length of a tar pulse, okay? So pulse is getting a steady beat. It's something that is learned. It's not instinctive. So children who have a good sense of pulse will have been exposed to bouncing songs when they're younger and will just sort of pick it up. But it is something that we do have to really work on and help the children. So if they're not getting a steady beat, just holding their hands really gently and patting with them in class, if they'll let you, or at home, will really start to get that sort of sense of beat into their bodies. Okay, so on top of that, sometimes we do some coordination games. So once we've got the sense of pulse, sometimes I'm going to ask them to do patterns with their arms. So it might be knees, shoulders, knees, shoulders, knees, shoulders, or shoulders, shoulders. That's crossing the midline. That's much harder for the children. Shoulders, shoulders, or shoulders, nose, shoulders, nose. All of these little sort of tricks that we're doing in class, where we're doing patterns like this and keeping a steady beat, is then challenging the brain another level, and it's getting used to the left and right brain. So let's say you're playing a violin or playing different things on a piano, or playing different rhythms with the drums. It's getting that cross over the midline, getting the left and right brain talking to each other. So we're priming the brain to be able to do different things at once, which is something that you need for basically all instruments. So those are what those coordination games lead to. Rhythm. Now, rhythm and pulse are things that often get mixed up. So pulse is your steady beat, and then rhythm is like the division that goes over the top. So let me just say for Twinkle Twinkle, the pulse for Twinkle Twinkle will be like this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So I have a steady beat in my knees, and I'm saying the syllables with my words. Now the rhythm would go with the syllables. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Now I try and always put the rhythms in my hands in class and the pulse on my knees, so that subconsciously the children know that this is your steady beat and this is your rhythm. Later on we put our mouths and our rhythm, so we always have to say what our hands say. That is the rhythm, okay? Children will want to go twinkle, twinkle, little star, okay? And being able to keep a beat and say a different rhythm over the top, twinkle, twinkle, little star, is very different. Or be able to do, this is the next level, keep the beat in your feet and the rhythm in your hands. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Not twinkle, twinkle, yeah, okay? So rhythm is like syllables when you're talking, and it's the short and the long divisions of the beat that we get, whereas the pulse is the basic overall feeling of beat that just stays the same and keeps going throughout, okay? So an example of rhythm in the lessons, the first thing that we're going to be doing is just play, 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 stop. So it looks similar to the pulse, but that would just carry on going. It's the stopping that creates a rhythm. So it goes play, 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 stop, play, 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 stop, play, 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 stop. That's the very first rhythm that they'll do. And then we might move on to one which is the twinkle, twinkle, little star. So it goes T, 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 ta. T, 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 ta. T, 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 ta. So fast and fast and fast and slow. Fast and fast and fast and slow. Okay, so they're very simple rhythms, and I'll build them into the games, I'll build them into the songs that we're doing. But yeah, so when we're doing those simple games and songs, that's what we're looking for, we're doing rhythm. Okay, pitch, a bit more familiar, it's the lows and the highs. Now pitch tends to be in the storybook songs. So this first week we had seesaw up and down. Now at the start of each session I'll do a vocal warm-up. It is really, really important that little children explore the whole of their voices. So we tend to go ooh. Grown-ups, you will naturally sing in your chest voice, okay? So we have to warm up our voices and go a little bit higher than we naturally would, because children's vocal cords are shorter than ours, they naturally sing a little bit higher. Children have to be encouraged to come out of their chest voice, not growling down here. It's matching up their ears and their voice sort of muscles to be able to pitch and sing in tune. So first off, vocal warm-up. Ooh, we do it with humming, we do it with ooh, ah, e, and using our facial muscles and getting everything relaxed. Never make them go too loud, always nice and gentle. Don't ever tell a child to shout sing, because that tightens everything up and stops the development of a really natural, lovely singing voice. And the first song that we did this time, a lot of the songs will start on this so me pattern, which feels quite high for us as adults, but that's a very sort of very easy range for children, and it's based on a very mommy, nina, nina. It's quite an easy sort of first pair of notes for them to sing. And then so the storybook songs tend to only have 2 notes, maybe 3 notes in them. It will develop, and they're very, very simple. But then we'll do lots of activities to put the pitching into our body. So it'll be high and low and high and low. But also with high and low, in a lot of music, high and low doesn't physically go high and low, it actually goes side to side. So if I'm getting them to jump one side and then another, it will be like I'm imagining there's a piano in front of them, and for the higher notes, I'm going towards the higher side of a piano, and the lower notes I'm going towards the lower side. So again, it's subconscious, I'm not telling them that, but if I'm putting maps on the floor and I'm wanting to go one way and another, it will be that the higher notes on a piano would live up here and the lower notes would live down here. So in instruments, high and low can sometimes be left and right, and it's just getting the children really happy with that switch in planes, again on a subconscious level. So ensemble, French word for together. So when we're doing just the picture songs with the frogs and things, and I'm getting them to do an action together, like going wee, splat, getting the splat to land together, watching my hand and landing at the same time, is again using all the skills that you'd need to play in a chamber group when you want to join in at the same time. So you're watching, you're listening, you're anticipating, and the joy of coming together and not just being happy to splat wherever you go. Again, it's a skill that's going to develop over many years, but if we can get the whole group wanting, preparing, anticipating and jumping together, that is a really, really important skill for playing in big groups when you're a bit older. And listening. So at the end of every session, we're going to have a concert, and I'm going to show them different orchestral instruments. Some of them are even not orchestral instruments. They can be like, we might have a didgeridoo, or we might have some ocarinas. A lot of them will be the sort of traditional ones. I'm going to send you a link each week, hopefully each week, but if not, you can do a bit of Googling on YouTube for the instrument that we've seen, of a clip of that instrument being played, so that they understand what the sound of that instrument is. And the idea is to expose them to loads of different types of music and genres and sound worlds at a very early age, so they can start seeing where their preferences lie. Yeah, so we move to the song, to the piece of music that we're hearing, we're putting it into our body, and we're responding in a really creative way. There's no right and wrong. You can have opinions about music, you can use your imagination and make a story. All of those things create really interesting performers. We don't want people always just playing a piece of music exactly the same way. We want them to have opinions about music and be able to create their own tastes. So that's what happens in that bit. So in each half-hour session, I will probably touch on all of these things, but I'm not going to stop the session and tell you where it's coming. But in the videos, what I might do is I'll keep this list up here, and as we're doing the different activity, I'll put a little tick by it so that you know what things we're trying to promote. But don't necessarily talk to the children about it. It's just so that you know when we're jumping around being blue bananas or dinosaurs or whatever, there is other than just fun, there is some logic behind the crazy. Okay, right, I'm off to make your first video, and I'll see you next time.